tried to silence him. They erased his name. But he rebuilt from nothing. He fought every algorithm. They tried again and failed. Now he's back, stronger. From blackout to spotlight, he's at the White House, at the top of his game. Franchi lives.
You are about to enter another dimension, the dimension of truth, unfiltered and uncensored. Welcome to the Raw Feed with Gary Franchi.
Night, it breaks. Food riots, Autopen presidency, ICE surges, climate hoax collapse, Marxists rising. Raw Feed starts now.
Welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, coming to you live from the heart of America. Unfiltered truth to millions on YouTube. Hit those donation links below. Every contribution powers our gear. Every contribution keeps the party going. Help me help you. Hit those donation links. YouTube channel memberships. Special acknowledgement in the fellowship. Your super chats keep me standing. Your Rumble rants fuel every round.
Say hello to super chats.
Spread the intel. Every repost extends our reach.
Super chats fuel this spectacle. Your Rumble rants give me strength.
24/7 members-only community, behind-the-scenes discussions.
Connect with fellow patriots.
Share this via text message. Send it to your friends. Text bypasses everything. Just do it. The app is real. Download the Next News Network app. Android users, take the Google Play path. iPhone users, App Store awaits. Breaking news in real time.
What's up, Raw Feed Nation? Welcome to the show. Right now, America is watching the controlled demolition of its government in real time, and Chuck Schumer just lit the fuse. I'm Gary Franchi. This is the Raw Feed, where we cut through the propaganda and deliver the unfiltered truth about what's really happening in this country. Tonight, we're going to expose 5 explosive stories that prove the American people are witnessing the controlled demolition of their own republic. From coordinated welfare riots to presidential forgery, from mass deportations to the climate cult civil war. The establishment's house of cards is collapsing, and we are here to document every devastating detail. It's day 28 of the Democrat shutdown, and while 13,000 air traffic controllers can't pay their mortgages, leftist influencers are teaching people how to rob Walmart on TikTok. That's not hyperbole. That's simply a Tuesday in Chuck Schumer's America. Or should I say the Autopen America? Because, folks, Joe Biden was never a president. A signature machine was. And we've got the receipts. Now, let me take you back to March 23rd of 1933. Franklin Roosevelt signed the Beer and Wine Revenue Act, legalizing alcohol sales during the Great Depression. But here's what they don't teach you in history class. FDR was so physically debilitated by polio that rumors swirled he wasn't actually signing documents himself. Sound familiar? Except this time it's not rumors. The House Oversight Committee just confirmed Biden's staff used an Autopen to forge the president's signature on pardons, executive orders, and even laws. The difference here, though, FDR could still think. Biden's handlers didn't even tell him what they were signing. So here's what's coming up on tonight's Raw feed. First up, while Democrats protect their paychecks, SNAP benefits are about to expire. And the response from the left? A coordinated theft campaign. We've got the TikTok videos, the November 3rd Walmart Target date, and the woman bragging about stealing because her food stamps got cut. This is not poverty, it's organized crime using poverty as a cover. Then the scandal that makes Watergate look like jaywalking. Biden's Autopen presidency back in the spotlight. And it means that every pardon he signed is legally void. Fauci's immunity, gone. Adam Schiff's protection, vanished. Hunter's get-out-of-jail-free card, worthless. Attorney General Pam Bondi is moving in for the kill, and the rats are lawyering up. Next up, Trump's deportation machine is firing on all cylinders. ICE chiefs across America, they just got pink slips, replaced by Border Patrol commandos who actually enforce the law. Greg Bovino, remember that name? He's leading the raids in Chicago that have left liberal judges so terrified they're ordering him to appear in court on the daily. Nearly 3,000 arrests and counting. This, my friends, is what Make America Great Again looks like with handcuffs. But here's where it gets weird. Bill Gates, yes, Mr. You'll Eat Bugs and Be Happy, he just betrayed the climate cult. The man who spent decades telling us cow farts would end civilization now says climate change won't destroy humanity. His own allies are calling him Judas. When the high priest abandons the religion, you know the grift is up. And finally, the Democrats' Hitler hoax has boomeranged so hard they're denying they ever said it. We've got the video proof, minute after minute, of every major Democrat comparing Trump to Hitler. Now, they're actually embracing communists in New York while pretending they're the reasonable ones. AOC jumping around at rallies for a guy whose supporters cheer about 9/11. 5 stories, one pattern, the complete collapse of every lie that they've told you for years. The welfare state is breeding criminals. The president, Joe Biden, a fraud. The border being secured by force. The climate scam imploding. The party calling everyone Nazis is literally chanting Marxist slogans in the streets. This is what the end of an empire looks like. Not from foreign invasion, not from internal rot. The question isn't whether the system will collapse. It's whether we'll build something better from the ashes. So stay with us, Raw Feed family. The show is just getting started. And let's welcome you to the show. We got Delinda in the house, and Stock Jock and Hermie, Scott Maga, Freebird, Chad Anuga, Tyson Curie, Heather Reeve, Jay, Kim, Sherry, Storm, Roger, Johnny, Halo Second Amendment, Erica Cook, Bill's Rules, Tracy Hicks, Thomas Duff, Anicon 2, R. McGrath, Cherokee Moon, Johnny Rodriguez, Brian Ashley, Andy Davis, D. Nice, Hot Rod Mike, James Ellie. And I heard a little birdie whisper in my ear today. There's a birthday coming tomorrow, I believe. Mr. Jeremy Olson. Yeah, we'll be celebrating, so we'll be celebrating with you, my friend. Maybe 24 hours early, but better early than late, right? Duplicate just sent 5 Next News memberships out. Do we have any super chats? I'm going to check real quick. You know, our goal tonight is 100 buckaroos. Those super chats fuel this show and keep it running. And every time I see one come in, I get overjoyed, and I always tell Angie after the show how grateful I am for your support. Now, let's get into our first story of the evening. They told you the government shutdown wouldn't affect regular Americans. Well, they lied. Day 28, and something dark is spreading across this country. From empty federal worker bank accounts to viral videos teaching desperate people how to become criminals while Chuck Schumer collects his paycheck. There's a new kind of organized chaos erupting nationwide. What started as a political standoff has morphed into something far more dangerous. And Chuck Schumer about to find out. Social media influencers are weaponizing desperation, turning poverty into a battle plan. And November 3rd, mark your calendar. That's the day they're planning something that should terrify every law-abiding American. Now, this isn't about food stamps anymore. This is about the complete breakdown of civil society. And think about this. SNAP benefits expire on Saturday. Stores are being targeted for mass theft events. And Chuck Schumer is playing politics with your food supply. That's why smart Americans are taking matters into their own hands with My Patriot Supply. Right now, save $100 on the 3-month emergency food kit. When shelves go empty on November 3rd, you'll have 2,000 calories a day for 90 days. Real meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Not the garbage these TikTok thieves are stealing. It's made in America, last 25 years, it ships free. While others plan to loot Walmart, you'll be eating well at home. No chaos, no crime, just peace of mind. Preparewithgary.com is the website because when government fails and society breaks down, self-reliance is your only option. Make sure you go to preparewithgary.com. Don't wait. So we've been covering this for quite some time, but it is now coming to a head. A man says people should steal, whether or not their EBT gets cut off.
Is in light of the government cutting SNAP benefits November 1st, I want to remind everybody that stealing is never wrong. Stealing from multi-billion-dollar businesses is always okay, if not encouraged, right? 5-finger discount. It's the best discount you could ever get. 5-finger discount. In light of the government cutting.
Somebody should help him with a certain scripture. Thou shalt not steal, I think it is. Here's a leftist telling people who are on food stamps to start robbing Walmart.
Benefit over if in the month of November or December or any other time that you're not receiving your benefit over the way that people voted, if you have to steal from those who are stealing from you, such as going into Walmart, taking some bread and cheese, putting it in a nice big backpack or purse or diaper bag, I ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing. If you want to steal from those who are stealing from you, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And if you're local to me, and if you know me IRL, and you're struggling, let me know. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do to help you out. If in the month of November
that was just
December,
unnerving. I think not just what she was saying, but also just how she was eating. This just in as well. After bragging about all the things she just stole from the store because her food stamps got cut off, a woman tells her followers to infiltrate churches and get rent money. And she goes on to display the items that she has stolen.
I don't got $9. Hi, you guys. I'm out of the store. So they wanted $7 for this. Mind you, I don't have food stamps anymore. They cut me off. So I only had $22 left in food stamps.
Maybe you should have bought a cheaper purse, honey.
So this is what I stole. Okay, they wanted $9 for this. I said, I don't got $9. Then they wanted $2 for this. They wanted, sorry, it's all fucked up because it's been in my purse. $7 for this. I'm making some stuffed salmon today. These are needed. I'm not paying $7 for that. Okay, let me show you the most important thing to me. Short ribs. Take off the label so that you don't beep. Get your fucking meat. How many do you think that I got? How many short ribs is that? And can I be real?
Wow.
More of y'all bitch ass niggas should have started taking shit from the motherfucking corporations a long time ago. Y'all just didn't have that shit in your motherfucking bones. Get out there and get in the motherfucking field like I told you. Everything out here is yours. Whether or not you take it, they call that shit free will. I call that shit eminent domain.
Wow. Shaniqua on a tear. Here's another one. EBT recipients are planning a mass theft event for November 3rd at Walmart. Walmart heiress Christy Walton promotes No Kings anti-Trump protests in an ad. Real smart there. November 3rd is D-Day.
And we are going to stick. People, my people. I wish we stopped crying about this motherfucking EBT card. At the end of the day, they trying to see is we going to stick together. And we are going to stick together. Fucking November 3rd at 6:30, we're going to Walmart. We're going to fucking Walmart. And at 7:30, we're going to walk out of Walmart with our fucking buggies. Okay? The thing is, they can catch everybody. You feel me? All you got to do is run, Forrest, run. Okay? We have to stick to fucking together. It don't even matter. As long as we going to have everything we need for Thanksgiving, that's all that fucking matters, bitch. Run, Forrest, run. Remember, put it in your calendar. November 3rd, 6:30 to 7:30. You better be running up that motherfucking people.
Oh, yeah, they're advertising on TikTok. Here we have Secretary Rollins from the USDA talking about the SNAP benefits.
Point two. Does the USDA have the money to keep this program should you choose to, or has the well truly run dry? 100% unequivocally, USDA does not have the $9.2 billion that it would require. There's not just pots of $9.2 billion sitting around. And what's particularly rich about New York saying that, or California, or any of these other blue states that have filed the lawsuit that say, oh no, we're going to go, you guys, USDA, go find the money, is it's their very friends, partners, colleagues, Democrat elected officials that continue to vote over and over again to keep the government closed. Again, shame on them. I cannot begin to understand what they're thinking. Even their own union, right? Even their own federal government employee union, I don't know the exact name, is urging their own Democratic leaders to open the government back up. Listen, Chuck Schumer's getting paid. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is getting paid, but our air traffic controllers not getting paid. Our food stamp recipients are not going to get their benefit beginning Saturday. Our law enforcement, those that are keeping us safe, not getting paid. It's just, it's unbelievable. And I've never seen anything like this. It's surely they're going to change their mind and vote to open any day now.
Does the U.S.
They better, or else Walmart's going to be complaining. Secretary Sean Duffy, 7 hours ago, 13,000 air traffic controllers won't get a paycheck today. He says, you know who will continue to receive paychecks? Democrats in Congress who are shutting down our government to fight for illegal health care.
On their table. Every day, 3 million people fly through the American airspace. We have 13,000 air traffic controllers to keep them.
To shake down. That's what he says. I said this before. You will not catch me in an airport until this thing is resolved. Lindell TV, their reporter Allison Steinberg pressing Cory Booker on the Democrat shutdown, and he melts down.
Really confused by your...
Whip Clark said the Democrats are keeping the government shut down so you guys can use this time for leverage, but now nearly 2 million Americans are going to go without paychecks at the end of the week. Do you have any comment on this? Can you explain how this leverage actually benefits the American people?
I'm really confused by your question. The President of the United States controls the White House. The Republicans in the House and the Senate have shown their willingness to do a form of yoga I've never seen, to bend over backwards and do whatever he wants them to do. So when you control the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, this is their shutdown. Democrats are doing what the minority party has always done, which is saying we've got to come together and work a way forward. But Donald Trump doesn't even want to work with us. He's on another foreign tour while the government's shut down and Americans are hurting in crisis. And the House of Representatives has been out for 5 weeks. So I'm simply saying, hey, people are hurting, and come to the table. Let's all negotiate and get out of this shutdown.
Okay, and what about AFG? The largest federal employees union is now calling on Democrats to just pass the clean, nonpartisan CR, the same one you guys have passed 13 times previously under Biden. Is this going to change the political calculus for Senate Democrats?
Again, it passed under Biden because we had bipartisan negotiation. They're refusing to do bipartisan negotiation. The biggest union that represents federal workers are simply saying, we've been appealing to Republicans to do that for a long time. That's fallen on deaf ears. Democrats, help us out.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Whip Clark said the Democrats are keeping the government
Allison
shut.
Steinberg for the win on that hit. Holy cow. Cory Booker actually entertained her questions. For the 13th time, Senate Democrats refused to pay the troops and reopen the government, continuing to use American families as leverage. The clean CR put forward by Republicans was blocked again by Chuck Schumer and needs 60 votes. Here's the moment. Roll call vote. Motion to vote cloture on the motion to proceed to the consideration of H.R. 5371, the Continuing Appropriation and Extensions Act. That's the clean CR, continually getting voted down by the Democrats. Neera Tanden, Red Wave Press reports, Neera Tanden, why did you support the president when he asked for and got $168 billion in cuts to SNAP benefits? Harrison Fields, who is he's like White House Deputy Communications Director, responding.
Cuts to SNAP. Just I have to say, it's amazing to get lectures on how much you care about SNAP benefits.
Because I have family members on SNAP.
Well, then why did you support the president when he asked for and got $186 billion of cuts to SNAP?
They were cleaning up the program from waste, fraud, and abuse.
Oh my
you
God,
and I both
that
know
is
that.
all ridiculous.
Because you cannot
people
have a program.
Go hungry
No.
From those SNAP
straw man's
cuts.
argument.
No,
you
it's
cannot
not.
have
Those people. I'm sorry. You just paid for 186. You took $186 billion out of the SNAP program. $186 billion that will go
waste, fraud, and abuse.
It's not waste, fraud, and abuse. It will. You like to say that, but it's actually false.
Look at what we actually
took
did.
The money, and you
but
took
this
the
is
money
the overall problem. What you're mad about is the passage of one big beautiful bill. You guys have to realize that elections have consequences, and your side lost.
Hold on one second. Just on the waste, fraud, and abuse point. Over the last 15 years, SNAP fraud has fallen from 4% to 1%. So there's already very little fraud in the
So you're okay with 1% fraud? Sure. Got it.
SNAP program, according to the government.
$180 billion is a lot more.
Dude,
but
look, regardless of that, I mean, people who are on the program right now are going to not have benefits. I think it's interesting because the Trump administration says, you know, there's $6 billion in the emergency fund. $8 billion is needed to cover the month of November. They're saying that they can't use that money because that money needs to be set aside for, you know, hurricanes and other emergencies. But they've been willing to move money around for all kinds
for our
of
troops,
other
for aviation safety,
all kinds of other. They've been willing to
troops and aviation safety. Seems like a big priority. The U.S. Senate is preparing to vote for the 13th time, and they voted it down, to end the government shutdown. Harris Faulkner says the shutdown drags on now to day 28. Vice President J.D. Vance about to head to Capitol Hill.
House Republicans passed. Meanwhile, the Senate is about to try a 13th vote to pass the Republican funding bill that would finally ensure federal workers get paid and needy Americans can put food back on their tables for their families. House Republicans passed it more than a month ago. You've heard it, a clean, continuing resolution, just so they can continue to talk about things, but keep the government open. All the add-ins that Democrats have wanted to put in, they can talk about health care. Look, these are important topics. They'll get to that. Just open the government so the people who need the health care can have the money to pay for it.
That's what it's about. Here is Speaker Johnson telling Chuck Schumer to shove it. He will never allow hundreds of billions to go to illegal aliens. Chuck is holding the country hostage.
Democrat shutdown that everybody, the Democrats' historic obstruction has now become very clear for everyone. I want to use a little simple, Lily, if you show me this real quick. Just real quick, simple facts, because these things get obscured too much. But there are simple facts about the Democrat shutdown that everybody needs to recognize. Here's 4 of them. First of all, we have to have Democrats to reopen the government. You know that in the Senate, it requires 60 votes to break an impasse. Wait, hang on, Lily, hold it real here. Keep it close to the podium. I want everybody to see this, okay? We're going to make it simple. I had my 15-year-old son and some of his friends were together over the weekend, and they wanted me to explain it to them as simply as possible. This is the little formulation, okay? Hey, fellas, remember from civics, you got to have 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans, so we must have Democrats to do it. The Democrats are out trying to claim that this is all on Republicans because we control the government. We don't control the Senate without 60 votes, so you have to have them. Now they've voted 13 times, those Senate Democrats, counting the House and the Senate together, they voted 13 times to keep the government closed. And what they're demanding as a ransom to reopen the government are some really crazy things. They want to restore $200 billion in health benefits paid for by U.S. taxpayers to illegal aliens and non-citizens. We can't do that. They want billions of dollars in wasteful programs to be returned to foreign countries for things that none of you would agree with. We are not going to do that. They want $500 million to go back to left-leaning news organizations, paid for by taxpayers. We can't do that. And then they want to cut $50 billion from the Rural Hospital Fund that Republicans got signed into law July 4th to prop up health care in red states and rural areas around the country. It's too important, but they want to take that away. They know that we can't do it. And now that they've begun to admit what this is all about, thanks, Lee, you put it on the thing, they're admitting what they're up to. Chuck Schumer said every day of the shutdown gets better for us, meaning the Democrat Party. And you know, we had the second-ranked Democrat in the House, the minority whip, who just said a few days ago, the end of last week, that we know that this is causing great pain for the American people, but we have to use this leverage. We don't have many times where we have leverage like this. And so they've shown you what the real motivation is. But ultimately, why are they doing all that? Let me summarize this really quickly, as simply as I can, for the civic students back home. Republicans are not demanding anything, literally nothing. All we want is to reopen the government. The Democrats are demanding all those things I just showed you on the chart, plus a lot more. When I say they want to send money to foreign countries, this is some of the things that they would propose that the Democrats.
Yeah, we're not sending money to foreign countries. We're not going to be funding illegal aliens' health care. And now, of course, this call to raid Walmarts continues. There are droves of people starting to call out able-bodied people who use federal handouts to survive. I'm going to say it. I don't care who get mad. There should be no grown able-bodied person freaking out. Americans are fed up with supporting people who refuse to improve their lives.
Not about no food stamps. I'm just going to say it, and I don't care who get mad. Should no grown-ass able-bodied people be freaking out about no food stamps? If you got 2 legs, 2 arms, you can get up and talk on the phone. You can get up and take your behind to work. I'm talking to able-bodied. I'm just going to say it, and I
don't think he'll be at Walmart this weekend. National Air Traffic Controllers Association President Nick Daniels.
The impossible possible, day in, day out. That's now the life of an air traffic controller. The people tasked with making the impossible possible are having it made impossible by not paying them again. So the message is simple. In the shutdown today, there is no excuse that these hardworking men and women are showing up to do this job and to not ever know when they're going to get paid again. So we need America's help. We need you to stand up, and we need you to say enough is enough in this shutdown and ensure that we can move this forward, because we do not want to be up here telling you the sad stories. We want to be up here telling you how we're moving this system forward, how we're bringing in more air traffic controllers than ever, how we're modernizing this system to, serve the American people. So, again, cannot stress enough. If you want to take action, contact your congressional representative and tell them in the shutdown today. Day in, day out.
But, of course, the shutdown did not get ended today. 13 votes now. Just yesterday, more than 3,000 flights were delayed across the country. Thousands of American travelers now have to suffer because Democrats want leverage to secure free health care for illegals.
Some of that was today marks a big moment. For the first time, air traffic controllers will miss a full paycheck. The uncertainty is starting to take a toll. Just yesterday, more than 3,000 flights were delayed across the country. Some of that was weather related, but the DOT says as many as half those delays were related to the shutdown. Some controllers are calling out sick in protest or working second jobs to make ends meet. The largest union representing federal workers is calling for the shutdown to end so they can get paid. Here at SEA, you might see air traffic controllers handing out leaflets today. Their union says it's happening at nearly 20 airports nationwide to let travelers know how the shutdown is impacting safety and operations. Today marks
air traffic controllers handing out leaflets at airports, warning travelers of the safety risk. Here is Secretary Rollins 24 hours ago on the Democrat shutdown and the SNAP benefits.
Still getting paid. By the way, the SNAP benefits are about to end on Saturday. We don't have the funding to cover them. Meanwhile, Chuck Schumer is still getting paid. AOC is still getting paid. The elected congressmen and women are still getting paid. Their security team's not getting paid. The Americans, the 42 million Americans who rely on SNAP, they're not going to get paid starting on Saturday. I mean, this is so incredible that we are at this point in American history and that these people are not opening the government. It's just remarkable. By the way, the SNAP benefits are about to end.
If you have value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what happens when the political class plays Russian roulette with American lives. Chuck Schumer and his Democrat cronies have weaponized the shutdown to push their radical agenda. Billions for illegals while American families literally starve. They have created the perfect storm. Desperate people empty promises, and social media teaching theft as survival. The woman on TikTok bragging about stealing, she's not an anomaly. She's a preview. November 3rd is not just a date anymore, it's now a flashpoint. When government abandons its people, anarchy fills the void. So here is the question. Should anyone caught organizing mass theft events lose their government benefits permanently? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments below. And while society crumbles, at least you can look good doing it. Check out our exclusive Next News merch in the description, because if we're going down swinging. You're watching the Next News Network. And of course, the truth hurts. All right, we're just getting started, folks. We are just getting started. We got a great lineup of news for you this evening. The Autopen scandal is continuing. And we have new breaking news on this front from the House Oversight Committee. This is a big frickin' deal. Null and void, my friends. Let's get into it. But first, we have some super chats to acknowledge from Squeeze-A-Lot. Swoosh, pow, need a Walmart Batman. Squeeze-A-Lot returns with a 10 spot. Steel cable prevents shopping carts full of stolen goods leaving. Walmart trip hazard. James Fay dropping $10. Thank you, James. And Captain Sasquatch. I want to know how they would react if we cut security teams. You want security pay for it yourself. Right on, guys. Thank you for stepping up to the plate with those super chats. We're at $45. We're almost halfway to the goal this evening. And we got serious breaking news. Let's get at it. Some big breaking news right now. The House Oversight Committee just declared every Biden Autopen signature null and void in a devastating 100-page report that changes everything. Committee Chair James Comer is demanding Attorney General Pam Bondi launch immediate criminal investigations into White House staff who have been taking the fifth to hide their roles. New email evidence shows that Jeff Zients approved Autopen pardons, then bizarrely denied it under oath. Speaker Johnson's calling it unprecedented. Staffers didn't even know who was operating the signature machine. This means Fauci's pardon, Schiff's immunity, the J6 committee's protection, all potentially worthless paper. The bombshell report proves what we suspected. Biden's presidency was run by whoever controlled the robot pen. The legal reckoning starts now. And you know what's terrifying? Biden's own staff testify he didn't know what he was signing. His mental fog was so thick they had to use a robot. That's why I started taking C60 Evo. This Nobel Prize winning molecule cleared my brain fog completely. Lab studies showed 90% longer lifespan. And I believe it. My thinking is sharper than guys half my age. My wife's anxiety from her health diagnosis gone. Joint pain I've had for decades eliminated. Now this molecule, 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. Scientist Chris Buras, he has been perfecting this in his Houston lab since 1991, and the Paris study proves it. Cellular regeneration at the deepest level. So visit the link in the description, c60evo.com/NNN. Make sure you use code NNN and take advantage of the exclusive discounts. Don't let your mind slip away like Biden. Stay sharp and stay sovereign. That's c60evo.com/NNN. So the big news out of the Oversight Committee. Holy cow. We have Speaker Johnson responding to it.
Written authorization. Oversight Chairman James Comer released a blockbuster report now on the Biden Autopen presidency. And this report includes 47 hours worth of transcripts and testimony revealing that every executive action signed by the Autopen without written authorization from President Biden should be voided. This is an unprecedented situation in American politics and government. The actions of President Biden simply were not all his own actions. And there are major implications to that, including all the pardons that he signed. But don't get me started. Okay, Oversight.
All the pardons that he signed, potentially null and void. Oversight Committee. The full report on our investigation of the Biden Autopen scandal. Oversight Committee, 8 hours ago, the Oval Office was occupied, but Joe Biden wasn't running the show. Biden was in physical and mental decline. His aides didn't even know who was using the Autopen to sign executive actions and pardons. This is the scandal of the century. This is it. The Biden Autopen presidency. Decline, delusion, and deception in the White House. This is a constitutional crisis. We have never, ever had to face what happens when executive orders or pardons become null and void. Remember when President Trump put the picture of Joe Biden? He took it down and put a picture of the Autopen up. Yep, that sums it up. All of Biden's executive actions, including pardons, are now null and void. House Oversight Committee has confirmed the Autopen was used by Biden's staff for actions and pardons and have now nullified all of it. Where's little Adam Schiff now? This is the official declaration 11 hours ago from the Oversight Committee. We are deeming Biden's executive actions null and void. This is the Presidential Walk of Fame. Another shot here from Margot Martin, showing all the presidents. I showed you the picture, but video speaks so much louder sometimes, doesn't it? Yep, this is all happening right now. And we have this here. This is from Attorney General Pam Bondi responding to the Oversight Committee. 8 hours ago, my team has already initiated a review of the Biden administration's reported use of Autopen for pardons. Representative James Comer's new information is extremely helpful, and his leadership on this issue invaluable. Will continue working with GOP oversight to deliver accountability for the American people. So, Attorney General Pam Bondi is now looking into the use of it for pardons. This is unprecedented. This is a constitutional crisis. It's going to require significant legal minds analyzing what happens next. What happens to all of those executive orders that Joe Biden signed? But most importantly, those pardons. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene 10 hours ago, if the Autopen pardons are done away with, Anthony Fauci needs to be prosecuted. There is no excuse. Without question. His crimes against humanity, Anthony Fauci needs to be prosecuted immediately. Libs of TikTok, House Oversight releasing the damning 100-page report deeming Biden's Autopen actions null and void. You can see this video. We've played it before, showing the identical signatures on January 19th, 2025. Biden family pardon, Dr. Fauci pardon, General Milley pardon, J6 committee pardon, Lundgren pardon, all these pardons, identical signatures signed by an Autopen. House Oversight Chair on the Benny Show says all of Biden's pardons null and void. Listen to this.
Mm-hmm. And it was grotesque to watch. No one's ever seen a woman behave like this in the White House. What's to be made of Jill Biden's role in all this?
Well, she had a significant role. We didn't bring Jill Biden in because it was going to take forever, and time is of the essence, because you've got a situation where a lot of these people in the deep state can't be held accountable. I know there's a lot of people frustrated that no one's been arrested yet or anything else. Well, a lot of them were granted pardons. Well, now, with our investigation, the pardons, if the Department of Justice does what we've recommended, the pardons will be declared null and void. So there's nothing stopping the Department of Justice from going after the deep state and going after Dr. Fauci for everything that he put us through, or the January 6th committee for falsifying documents, or the Biden family for taking millions and millions of dollars from our enemies around the world, lying about it, and then not paying taxes on it. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of who the Autopen pardoned on the way out the door. And again, there's no chain of custody. Every staffer essentially gave a different account for how the Autopen was to be used. And I don't think that would hold up. If you ran a Fortune 500 company and operated like that, I don't think that would hold up in a circuit court in any state in America, much less the presidential power of the pardon and the way that was operated by the Biden administration.
Should Joe Biden's Dr. O'Connell, should he lose his license?
Well, I think that he's going to have to explain why that they didn't give Joe Biden a cognitive test, or did they give Joe Biden a cognitive test and he failed? He's going to have to explain why they didn't test Joe Biden for prostate cancer, or did they test Joe Biden for prostate cancer and he had it and they lied about it? And I think he's going to also have to say, why did you continuously write down that he was in a picture of health mentally and physically when everyone in America could see with their own eyes that he was not? Now, those are all questions we tried to ask him, and he pled the Fifth Amendment to avoid self-incrimination. Now, if you have the Attorney General do an investigation, he's not going to have as many options. And if he continues to plead the Fifth, then I think he should lose his license. Because he was America's doctor, essentially. He didn't work for Joe Biden. He worked for us. He was the White House physician.
Right.
And you can't have the White House physician lying about people, so especially if they have cancer, especially if they take a cognitive test and fail it. So at the end of the day, that clip you showed of Jill Biden, when she said they never even talked about taking a cognitive test, that is a lie. They did talk about it. Every single one of the people that we brought in that was in Joe Biden's inner circle said, yeah, we talked about taking the president taking a cognitive test to shut up the critics, but then we eventually decided against it. Now, why would you decide against it? Either you knew he would fail it, or he took it and failed it and you covered it up.
Nobody elected Jill Biden.
Oh, yeah, baby. It's all going down. President Trump back in July.
Years. Look, the Autopen, I think, is maybe one of the biggest scandals that we've had in 50 to 100 years. This is a tremendous scandal. And I know the people on the other side of the, see that desk, that Resolute desk? Unfortunately, he used it before me. But, we have our choice of 7 desks. They're all beautiful. But I chose the Resolute, and so did he, unfortunately. But the people on the other side of the Resolute desk, I know them. Lisa, the whole group, and they're no good. They're sick people. And I guarantee he knew nothing about what he was signing. I guarantee it. Look, the Autopen, I think, is maybe...
Oh, yeah, President Trump, he's been talking about the Autopen for a long time.
Chicken scratch. I think the only one he actually signed was Hunter's pardon was actually signed by him. You know how you can tell? It was like chicken scratch. My father's, you want a real signature. This was like chicken scratch, like a little thing. The Autopen looked much better.
Here's more from President Trump in September.
Of our time. Well, I think the Autopen is one of the great scandals of our time. The Autopen was our president, or to put it a different way, whoever operated the Autopen was our president. It's not allowed. It's just not allowed. And they gave a pardon to the Unselect Committee after the Unselect Committee realized that whole situation was a hoax and it was all their fault, including Nancy Pelosi turning down security and all, turning down soldiers. It all came out bad for them. They burned everything. They got rid of everything. There's absolutely nothing there. It's all gone. And that was based on an Autopen. They gave those members of Congress that were on the Unselect Committee, they gave them pardons. What do you think? So I think it's a tremendous scandal.
What do you think the media would say if you pardoned your kids their last day in office via an Autopen? Don't you think the media would go?
Well, I think it would have been a big story. I like this guy.
Every single pardon now officially being questioned. Here's more. President Trump in March on Air Force One.
It's not.
To follow
Biden Autopen? Are those executive orders, those pardons from the former president now null and void?
Well, I think so. It's not my decision. That'll be up to a court. But I would say that
well, now, of course, it's going to the Department of Justice.
Because I'm sure Biden didn't have any idea that it was taking place. And somebody was using an Autopen to sign off and to give pardons to, as an example, just one example, but the J6 Unselect Committee. They gave, think of it, they gave pardons with an Autopen. I don't think Biden knew anything about it. And what they did is they deleted and destroyed all of the information that took them over a year to get. And the reason they did that is because the information was very incriminating about them. Like Nancy Pelosi, it was determined conclusively that she knew about 10,000 soldiers and turned it down. And if we used 500 soldiers, you would have had no problem.
The Autopen scandal exploding today. Here's more from the Oversight Committee. Did Dr. O'Connor mislead the American people with false medical records about Biden's decline? After pleading the fifth in our investigation, Chairman Comer is calling on the D.C. Board of Medicine to review his actions as Joe Biden's physician. Joe Biden was not well.
Dr. O'Connor, were you ever told to lie about the president's health?
On the advice of counsel, I must respectfully decline to answer based upon the physician-patient privilege and in reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. I am not a lawyer. I must follow my lawyer's advice in this matter.
Let the record reflect that Dr. O'Connor has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Dr. O'Connor, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
On the advice of counsel, I must respectfully decline to answer based upon the physician-patient privilege and in reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. I am not a lawyer, and I must rely on my lawyer's advice in this matter.
Dr. O'Connor, did you ever believe the president was unfit to execute his duties as president?
On the advice of counsel, I must respectfully decline to answer based on the physician-patient privilege and in reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. I'm not a lawyer, and I must follow my lawyer's advice in this matter.
Let the record reflect that Dr. O'Connor has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Dr. O'Connor, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
On the advice of counsel, I must respectfully decline to answer based upon the physician-patient privilege and in reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. I am not a lawyer. I must follow my lawyer's advice in this matter.
Dr. O'Connor, is it your intention to decline to answer all questions put to you today by the committee on the basis of the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination?
On the advice of counsel, I must respectfully decline to answer based upon the physician-patient privilege and in reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. I am not a lawyer, and I must follow my lawyer's advice in this matter.
And we can tell you that he will have the same answer with respect to any questions that are asked.
Dr.
That man is so guilty. At the heart of the cover-up. Back in September, Representative Tim Burchett confirming that Biden staffers were taking payoffs in exchange for Autopen pardons, meaning bribes, and Hunter Biden was directly involved.
Favorably report to the House the Select Committee's final report, which includes the committee's legislative recommendations and criminal referrals of Donald J. Trump and others, pursuant to Section 4A of House Resolution 503.
The question is on the motion to favorably report to the House. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman, I request a recorded vote.
A recorded vote is requested. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Cheney?
Aye.
Ms. Cheney, aye. Ms. Lofgren?
Aye.
Ms. Lofgren, aye. Mr. Schiff?
Aye.
Mr. Schiff, aye. Mr. Aguilar?
Aye.
Mr. Aguilar, aye. Mrs. Murphy?
Aye.
Mrs. Murphy, aye. Mr. Raskin?
Aye.
Mr. Raskin, aye. Mrs. Luria?
Aye.
Mrs. Luria, aye. Mr. Kinzinger? Kinzinger, aye. Mr. Kinzinger, aye.
How is the chair recorded?
Mr. Chairman, you are not recorded.
Chair votes aye.
Mr. Chairman, aye.
The clerk will report the vote.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, there are 9 ayes and 0 noes.
The motion is agreed to. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Without objection, staff is authorized to make any necessary technical or conforming changes to the report to reflect the actions of the committee.
The Unselect Committee on January 6th casting their votes. Here is Jeff Zients saying his email. I approved the use of the Autopen for all the following pardons. When asked if he wrote it, he claims, I don't believe I did. Zients worked for Obama from 2009 to 2017, all 8 years. Remember that dinner in January 18th, 2025, right before the inauguration in Georgetown with a small group of people in a private dining room in Osteria? Zients was the only one publicly identified of the group, which was likely about 6. Neera Tanden, by the way, took over for Susan Rice when she left in 2023. Rice was hired day 1 of the Biden administration and placed in charge of domestic policy. If Valerie Jarrett is Obama's right hand, Susan Rice is the left. Obama was cubing the entire show from his Kalorama home, less than a mile from the White House, since 2017.
Was the people that knew he was cognitively impaired and that took over the Autopen. They stole the presidency of the United States.
Do you know who the people who were actually operated the Autopen were?
I do not. Do you know any of the actual staff who were using the Autopen?
No.
You don't know their names?
No.
Have you never seen a decision memo laying out the breakdown of when the president should hand sign a particular set of documents?
Not prior to prep.
Did he hand sign all executive orders?
He did not. He hand signed many executive orders, but he did not hand sign all executive orders.
Can you read your response?
I approve the use of the Autopen for the execution of all the following pardons. Thanks, Jay-Z.
Did you yourself write this email?
I do not believe I did.
That Autopen was used excessively, and yet no.
I do not believe I wrote that email. So was it an Autopen email too? On the authorization of the use of the Autopen?
One can say for certain that Joe Biden was given the orders to use the Autopen.
We've been pretty transparent from the very beginning with providing information as it occurs throughout this process.
That we anticipated that her report was going to come out and that we didn't feel an entire interview before the Super Bowl talking about classified documents was going to help the cause too much.
I think you can question the validity and the legality of those pardons and executive orders, and that's huge.
But the president is absolutely sharp, fit, on top of his game.
So they're just making up lies to attack the president.
Yeah. The bomb just detonated in Washington, D.C., my friends. We've been waiting for this. It's been really quiet on the Autopen front after all of those testimonies. I remember tracking them all, wondering how come we haven't heard anything. And now the blockbuster report has dropped. This is new. Apparently, House Oversight releases the interview video of top Biden aide Mike Donnellan. Question is asked, would the amount of money Donnellan earned in 2024 campaign change based on how far Biden made it? After long pauses, Donnellan says he'd have earned $4 million bonus if he was reelected. So we're going to continue to track this because now we have the Attorney General Pam Bondi already looking into the Autopen for pardons. So you got Schiff, you got Fauci. Hunter Biden's, I believe, was actually signed by President Biden at the time. Milley. These are all people that need to face justice. And you know they are sweating tonight. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this changes everything. If Joe Biden didn't sign those pardons, Fauci's walking around with toilet paper for protection. Adam Schiff, his immunity just evaporated. Hunter's sweetheart deal, legally worthless if his father didn't actually sign it. The January 6th committee members who destroyed evidence, they are now sitting ducks. Attorney General Pam Bondi has all the ammunition to prosecute them all. And Chairman Comer is demanding immediate action. Now, this is not just about signatures. It's about the systematic hijacking of our republic by unelected bureaucrats. For years, they called us conspiracy theorists for questioning Biden's capacity. Well, now we have the proof. America was never governed. It was only governed by whoever had access to the Autopen. So here's the real question. Was this incompetence or a coup? Drop your answer below. Do you believe that Biden knew his staff was forging his signature? And while the deep state panics, you can gear up with our very own President Autopen merch from our merch shop, because when the pardons fall, the dominoes follow. We are moving right along. We got $56 in Super Chats. A couple did come in here. From Inbred Outlook, dropping $1. Thank you very much. And Squeeze a Lot dropping a 10 spot. Autopen with a tattoo gun, traitor on their foreheads. That's hilarious. What are you guys saying? 2020 was a coup. We love you, Kenny. It was treason, says James. A big coup, says Michael. It was a Democrat coup, says Janet. Don't become a digital idiot. Get her done. Fauci should get every job that's available. We should like to see that on television. Biden knew what flavor of ice cream. Public floggings. You guys are on point tonight. But who's not on point are these sanctuary cities who are now feeling the heat. We're going to get into what's happening and the latest with this right now. President Trump just triggered the biggest ICE shakeup in history. Up to 12 enforcement chiefs nationwide got their walking papers, with Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino hand-selecting some of their replacements. Why Bovino? Because his agents don't play nice. They conduct roving raids at Home Depots, car washes, flea markets, arresting anyone suspected of being illegal. Nearly 3,000 captured in Chicago alone as BORTAC units storm sanctuary strongholds. The response, total meltdown. An Obama judge now demanding Bovino report to court on the daily. Protesters are throwing rocks at agents. Tom Homan and Stephen Miller are orchestrating this all from the White House, pushing for even higher numbers. The border war just came to your neighborhood, and I'm going to tell you everything that's happening. While Border Patrol raids sanctuary cities and leftist judges try to stop them, your body could use its own protection. That's where red light therapy comes in. After recovering these violent clashes where agents face daily attacks, well, they all come home. But I use this same technology that helps me recover. My wife's chronic pain from years of stress gone. My recovery time after long days reporting on the border wars cut in half. Now, this is not pseudoscience. NASA researched it. The FDA cleared it. Medical journals show 300% faster healing. Jonathan Otto's panels use 9 specific wavelengths that penetrate deep, triggering cellular repair. Border agents could certainly use this to heal faster. But now you can at home. MyRedLight.com is the website. The code at checkout for the exclusive savings for Next News viewers is NNN. And make sure when you check out the website, look at their payment plan. Because whether you are defending borders or just defending your health, recovery matters. That's MyRedLight.com. So this just in, the Border Patrol chief now ordered to meet with a Chicago judge daily. This is only designed to hinder his performance. Homan blasting the critics, hailing the Border Patrol chief Greg Bovino as a patriot after fiery Chicago tear gas hearing. Mike Davis reporting. Our National Border Patrol chief has to report in daily to a Chicago courtroom instead of doing his job across America. U.S. District Judge Sarah Ellis, a foreign-born Obama judge in Chicago, is a hack. There she is, foreign-born judge. This is all designed to hinder the operation of President Trump. Chicago judge scolding the Border Patrol chief for tear gas at a kid's Halloween parade and other violations. Well, tear gas is only deployed when there is a public threat, and they have to do it. Here's an illegal from Mexico who'd been in the U.S. illegally for 30 years, arrested this weekend by Border Patrol agents in Chicago. Agents got surrounded by protesters who shouted obscenities and interfered. 2 protesters got arrested for assaulting and impeding the agents.
In a statement to CNN, Border Patrol agents arrested an undocumented construction worker named Luis Villegas. His family told CNN affiliate WLS that the 35-year-old father was working at a nearby construction project before the arrest. The Department of Homeland Security said Villegas was, quote, a criminal illegal alien from Mexico who has previously been arrested for assault. Neighbors flocked to the streets along with Villegas' brother. According to DHS, they surrounded and boxed in the agents, who in turn issued multiple verbal warnings that they say were ignored.
Get off my property! You conducted arrest! Get off my property!
In a statement to CNN, DHS said, quote, to safely clear the area after multiple warnings and the crowd continuing to advance on them, Border Patrol had to deploy crowd control measures. Civilians and agents exchanged heated words and shoved one another, leading to the deployment of tear gas.
You cowards! You terrorists! Get out of our city, you fascists!
2 U.S. citizens were arrested for assaulting and impeding a federal officer, according to DHS. Villegas' family told WLS he has lived in Chicago since he immigrated from Mexico at the age of 4. This incident comes weeks after ICE launched its Operation Midway Blitz, an immigration enforcement effort. Earlier this month, U.S. District Judge Ellis issued a temporary order blocking federal agents from using certain types of force and crowd control measures against protesters after video of a pastor being hit by pepper balls during a demonstration outside an ICE facility near Chicago drew widespread criticism.
Oh, you cowards! You terrorists!
Border Patrol agents arrested.
Yeah. You find out. You want to mess? You're going to get the horns. A massive overhaul of ICE leadership is currently underway as the Trump administration is removing up to 12 ICE chiefs from around the country in an effort to boost deportation numbers.
Or senior DHS.
And a shakeup of leadership at ICE is now underway. The Trump administration replacing many senior leaders with Border Patrol officials amid a push to ramp up deportations. Bill Malutian has all the inside scoop on this, and we go to him now. Hi, Bill.
Dana, good morning to you. So this is a massive overhaul of ICE leadership. I'm told by 4 senior DHS officials that they're removing up to 12 ICE chiefs from around the country from their positions and reassigning them. I'm told this is a move spearheaded by Corey Lewandowski, and it's all in an effort to boost deportation numbers, which are already at more than 500,000 since President Trump took office. So here's what we're talking about. Some of the ICE leadership positions being removed are the heads of ICE here in Los Angeles, in San Diego, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Seattle, El Paso, New Orleans, and Denver, just to name some of them. I'm told some of their replacements will be Border Patrol officials hand-selected by Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino, whose aggressive and sometimes controversial tactics to arrest illegal aliens have elevated him within the Trump administration. Now, this is significant because Border Patrol and ICE do very different things, and we've embedded with both agencies multiple times. When we're with ICE, they are typically doing targeted enforcement of criminal illegal aliens, always knowing who they are arresting beforehand and often doing hours of surveillance to try and learn the target's schedule. Now, Border Patrol has been much more aggressive. They conduct roving patrols and raids at places like Home Depot, car washes, and flea markets, pretty much arresting anyone they suspect is in the U.S. illegally. Now, replacing ICE leadership with Border Patrol officials signals the Trump administration wants deportation efforts to get much more aggressive, with one Border Patrol source telling Fox, quote, "What did everyone think mass deportations meant? Only the worst?" Tom Homan has said it himself. anyone in the U.S. illegally is on the table. Now, DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin wouldn't confirm the personnel shakeup in a statement to Fox, saying in part, quote, "While we have no personnel changes to announce at this time, the Trump administration remains laser focused on delivering results and removing violent, criminal, illegal immigrants from this country." And Dana, a senior Trump administration official, did confirm these personnel moves to Fox, adding that there was a big, widespread review of ICE leadership after the One Big Beautiful Bill passed. And I'm told these changes were made based off who the administration feels can execute a mass deportation agenda, with all of that added money and staffing coming from that bill. More to come.
All right, Bill Malush.
President Trump removing the roadblocks in all of these locations to amplify the deportation efforts. It's happening right now. Tom Homan confirming he's personally working with Stephen Miller to skyrocket the deportation numbers. An ICE overhaul is happening as we speak. Here's Tom Homan.
Record deport. I think we're not going to be slowed down by any story about changes in leadership. I can tell you that Trump administration is dedicated to achieving a record deportation. That vast majority being criminal aliens, making this country safer every day. But as far as personnel changes, that's under the purview of the Secretary of Homeland Security. I'm at the White House and work with people like Stephen Miller, one of the most brilliant people I've ever met, to come up with strategic policies and plans, how to get success, how to maintain success, and how to get the numbers even higher.
Look, Fox News has been...
I think we're not going to be slowed down by any...
We're not going to be slowed down by anyone who's in our way. Here is more. Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino personally joins ICE raid at Chicago laundromat. Owner locks him out and refuses entry. This is ICE at 31 and Pulaski at the laundromat there on the 22nd of October at 10 a.m.
Ándale.
Now, that's the Border Patrol, like you heard him say, the roving raids. It appears is what they're doing there with respect to what ICE is doing in the targeted enforcement. So when ICE goes in with targeted enforcement, they generally, I believe, they should have a warrant. When in a roving situation, if you have a warrant, you better open up that door. So it looks like they've locked the door in this situation because they did not have a warrant. They could not go in. It's constitutional. But if ICE showed up with a warrant, that's a completely different story. Wow, these guys walk around with heavy weaponry too. Damn. Now, this is footage from obviously within the laundromat at 31st in Pulaski. Likely recorded by one of the patrons or the owner. They're not messing around. It's all happening in Chicago right now. Moving right along, the Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino will testify before a U.S. District Court Judge, Sarah Ellis, the Obama appointee, after he was summoned to answer questions about the ongoing immigration operations in Chicago. Here's Fox and Friends reporting on this.
Seen using it today in Chicago, Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino will testify before a judge on the ongoing operations in the Democrat-led city. Attorneys are asking the judge to block federal immigration agents from using tear gas in Chicago after Bovino was seen using it last week to disperse crowds of protesters who were throwing rocks at agents and getting violent.
Seems like a legitimate reason to throw tear gas.
Meanwhile, Bovino revealing yesterday that nearly 3,000 illegal immigrants have been arrested in Chicago since the crackdown began last month. Today in Chicago.
Here's more. U.S. Border Patrol agent shoving a Chicago woman to the ground after putting her hands on an agent. Yes, she did. She found out.
Oh, boom. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Get out, get out. Fuck.
Yeah, you don't mess around with federal agents. You don't put your hands on them. And then she did.
Get up, get up, get up, get up. Get out, get out.
I love how these agents are just driving around in minivans. They're driving around in Chrysler Pacificas. White ones. Totally unassuming. Here is a BORTAC. I guess this would be Border Patrol Tactical Unit making an arrest in Chicago. Yes, Border Patrol Tactical Unit, one of the 2 police tactical units in Special Operations Group under the United States Border Patrol, specializes in counterterrorism, high-risk tactical law enforcement. Here's another arrest.
Leave him alone! Let's go! Leave him alone! No! Leave him alone!
I should point out that that is, in fact, what appears to be a Caucasian individual. Not quite in line with the narrative we've been fed. They're going after the brown people.
Grab my phone. Because I don't say the next thing. Officer, if you're letting this happen, you're just as much the fucking victim. Where do we have to go to get him out? You can check the papers right here.
Now, what's not clear here is the reason for this arrest. It sounds like he may be an American citizen who was obstructing official operations. And he found out the hard way. You don't get in the middle of it. Nearly 3,000 arrested in Chicago. Immigration sweep. Border Patrol chief reports.
Tear gas. There was supposed to be a Halloween parade in Old Irving Park turned to chaos.
Tear gas in Old Irving Park.
As ICE agents appeared to deploy tear gas through residential streets on Saturday, there was outrage over the arrest of a construction worker, Luis Villegas. His family says he was working on a now unfinished project before he was chased down and arrested by federal agents. Villegas' family says he's an undocumented immigrant who has lived in the Chicago area most of his life.
I'm gonna throw it right back at you.
Tensions continued to grow after Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino was photographed allegedly hauling a tear gas canister at protesters in Little Village last week. Bovino defending his actions this morning.
When we utilize force in law enforcement, this is in law enforcement in general, as we use force, it's the least amount of force necessary to effect an arrest or to affect the successful outcome of any given mission that we're on. So whether it's the use of tear gas or the use of hand techniques or any use of force by law enforcement, that's that least amount of force necessary to positively affect the outcome of that mission. And that's what we do here in Chicago.
He tells ABC News nearly 3,000 people have been arrested in Chicago so far since the immigration crackdown began last month. Many have criticized the legalities on how arrests have been made, including claims that no audible warnings are given before tear gas is deployed. The Department of Homeland Security also releasing this statement saying, during the operations, Border Patrol agents were surrounded and boxed in by a group of agitators. Federal law enforcement issued multiple lawful commands and verbal warnings, all of which was supposed to be a Halloween.
All of which were ignored. Yep. They found out as well. Operation Midway Blitz in full effect. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what winning looks like. No more catch and release. No more sanctuary protection. No more bureaucrats slow-walking deportations. Trump promised mass deportations, and Greg Bovino is delivering them by the thousands. Less response, pure desperation. Obama judges demanding daily court appearances, protesters assaulting federal agents, a 30-year illegal finally arrested, and activists losing their minds. But here's the beautiful part. It's not stopping. Tom Homan confirming they're just getting started. Stephen Miller is crafting policies to accelerate removals even faster. The message crystal clear. If you're here illegally, your time is up. So here's the question for the comment section. Should judges who interfere with deportations face obstruction charges themselves? Yes or no? And while you decide, check out our next news gear in the description. Maybe you want to get one of those alligator Alcatraz t-shirts, because real Americans are taking back their country, one deportation at a time. This is the Next News Network, where law and order makes a comeback. What's up, guys? Barbara Leesman dropping $1.99. Thank you, Barbara. Squeeze a lot coming in with a 5-spot. Love for the minivan doors. Great choice by ICE. Yes, our family car is a Chrysler Pacifica, and it is the greatest minivan that has ever been created. I vowed at one point I was never going to have a minivan, but you know what? I love that minivan. And those automatic doors are awesome. Absolutely awesome. So let's keep going here. We got more news. What are you guys saying? FAFO. No one is above the law. Pothead Kenny has upgraded their membership. What's up, Pothead Kenny? All right. But now we need to talk about what's going on with Bill Gates. Yeah. Isn't this an interesting flip-flop? Bill Gates abandoning the doomsday cult. I wonder why. But we're going to find out. Yep. I think we might know why. The climate cult just lost its biggest bankroller, Bill Gates. The man who spent decades preaching environmental apocalypse just committed heresy. In a shocking reversal that's fracturing the climate movement, Gates now admits that climate change won't end civilization. He's saying temperature isn't even the right measure of progress. He'd rather raise temperatures to cure malaria than chase net zero fantasies, and the left is eating itself alive. Climate high priest Michael Mann is calling Gates a traitor. The timing is suspicious. Just as the Senate investigates Gates Foundation for illegally funding Chinese military labs, suddenly Bill discovers climate pragmatism. This isn't just a policy shift, it's a collapse of a multi-trillion-dollar scam. The truth is finally winning. We have the receipts. Now, Bill Gates, he spent billions pushing climate doom with his own health, while his own health deteriorated. Now, he's admitting the truth while you still have time to protect yourself. That's why I trust C60 Evo, the Nobel Prize winning molecule that gave lab animals 90% longer lifespans. While Gates flip-flops on saving the planet, save yourself. My brain fog vanished, joint pain I battled for years gone. My wife looks and feels younger than she has in a decade. Now, this is not another supplement scam like the climate grift. It's 172 times more powerful than vitamin C, working at the cellular level where aging actually happens. The Paris study proved it. The scientist behind it, Chris Burres, has perfected it since 1991. The website, c60evo.com/NNN. And use code NNN because while billionaires change their stories, your health is the only truth that matters. So this is the big breaking story today. Did not have this on my bingo card for this year. Bill Gates admits climate change will not lead to humanity's demise. And right on cue, we find out this from Paul Sperry. The Senate Judiciary is investigating the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for funneling millions of dollars into Chinese PLA fronts in violation of IRS rules against charities funding foreign governments under Foundation 501c3 nonprofit charter. Interesting timing, right? Bill Gates jumping ship on climate alarmism says it's not the end of the world. Temperature isn't the most important metric. Money being spent poorly. This is a white flag from someone who fought hard for an insane set of ideas and lost. Truth one, climate change is a serious problem, but it will not be the end of civilization. This is from the Gates notes. Bill Gates notes, even if the world takes only moderate action to curb climate change, the current consensus is that by 2100, the Earth's average temperature will probably be between 2 Celsius and 3 Celsius higher than it was in 1850. Temperature is not the best way to measure our progress on climate. Wow. Health and prosperity are the best defense against climate change. This is a chance, he says, to refocus on the metric that should count even more than emission and temperature change, improving lives. Our chief goal should be to prevent suffering, particularly for those in the toughest conditions who live in the world's poorest countries. Although climate change will hurt poor people more than anyone else, for the vast majority of them, it will not be the only or even the biggest threat to their lives and welfare. The biggest problems are poverty and disease, just as they've always been. Understanding this will let us focus our limited resources on interventions that will have the greatest impact for the most vulnerable people. He goes on to write that I know some climate advocates will disagree with me, call me a hypocrite because of my own carbon footprint, which I fully offset with legitimate carbon credits, or see this as a sneaky way of arguing that we shouldn't take climate change seriously. Well, Michael Mann now attacking Bill Gates for making a marginally less doomsday prognostication about climate change.
Bill Gates, who just 4 years ago wrote a book about impending climate disaster and invested billions to avoid it, today said that climate change will not destroy humanity. And I want to play a little bit of what he told to CNBC.
Climate is a super important problem. There's enough innovation here to avoid super bad outcomes. We won't achieve our best goal, the 1.5 or even the 2 degrees. And as we go about trying to minimize that, we have to frame it in terms of overall human welfare, not just everything should be solely for climate.
Critics are already saying that he seems to be setting up an argument that climate change efforts hurt foreign aid for the poor, that it's an either-or proposition. Do you hear in what he says a reframing from someone who has been a force in the climate change field?
Yeah, it's very disappointing. And frankly, Bill Gates doesn't have any expertise in climate science. And he's failing to listen to what the experts actually have to say. And we're seeing it play out in real time right here. You know, disastrous climate change is not far off in the future. It's not 1.5 Celsius. It's not 2 Celsius, as he suggests. It's here. And the question is, how bad are we willing to let it get? And if we continue to warm the planet beyond that level of warming, we will exceed our adaptive capacity. And so when Bill Gates says we'll just sort of try to engineer our way out of it or innovate our way out of it, it's really tone deaf to the fact that there are a very large number of people who will suffer catastrophic consequences if
you said people are going to die?
Yeah, Jar Jar.
We continue to allow the planet to warm up by continuing to burn fossil fuels. And I wish that Bill Gates would use the platform that he has to urge politicians and policymakers to help us transition away from dirty carbon energy towards clean energy as quickly as possible.
Michael Mann, always great to have you.
Michael Mann, not too pleased. In 2019, Bill Gates was saying that we had to stop cows from farting, eat fake meat, and get to zero emissions globally to prevent catastrophe. Here he is in 2019 and then 2025.
Was how great a problem bovine flatulence is. Nobody knows how to get rid of know how to get cows to stop farting.
Exactly, or burping. And so there is artificial meat, but that's at a very early stage. If it was a 50% reduction, then you could ignore, okay, leave the cows alone. But because we're trying to avoid the temperature continuing to go up, you do need to go to zero, not just.
And now he hears it 2025.
Everything should be solely for climate. Wasn't the goal here to improve human lives? Climate is super important, but has to be considered in terms of overall human welfare.
Overall human welfare, huh? Rob Schneider. Here's what, as a comedian, I love Rob Schneider.
And I was wondering. And then we have another crazy billionaire, Bill Gates, says there's too many of us. His thing by 2030 is to depopulate the planet. And I was wondering, like, are we part of the population that he wants to depopulate? Says there's too many of us. And he says it. And people go, it's a conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy theory. He said it. You can go on YouTube. He said Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's me. Bill Gates. I'm sorry, I was thinking about Epstein's Island for a second. So, Bill Gates, you go see on YouTube. He says one of the goals by 2030 is to lower the population of the planet, and one of the ways to do that is using vaccines. It's like, what? And people go, no, that's a conspiracy theory. So he said it. You can go see. He said, yeah, but it's a conspiracy theory to think, he meant what he said. Just what? He said it. He meant it. He's doing it, and it's working. And people go, it's a conspiracy theory. What? That's like if Bill Cosby said, listen, if you drink this, I am going to you. And people are like, nah, you're not. That's a conspiracy theory. No, if you drink this, I will be in every one of your orifices by morning. You will wake up with my dick in your ear, I promise you. Nah, you're just being funny, Bill Cosby. Yeah. And then we have another crazy billionaire, Bill Gates.
Schneider, dude. Dude, that was some funny. That's funny. Bill Gates, to the world, stop obsessing over CO2 and start saving people. Bill Gates has told the climate world to change the subject in the 17-page memo ahead of next month's UN summit in Brazil. He calls for a strategic pivot away from cutting emissions and towards fighting poverty, disease, and suffering in the world's poorest countries. Gates' argument in a sentence, climate change is serious but not civilization ending, and the obsession with emissions is starving real human solutions. Here is Pete Hegseth on the announcement of the internal audit of Bill Gates Foundation. This is August 31st of this year.
Cloud system. Last month, the Department of Defense was made aware of an Obama-Biden-era legacy program called Digital Escorts. For nearly a decade, Microsoft has used Chinese coders, remotely supervised by U.S. contractors, to support sensitive DoD cloud systems.
Oh, my God.
The program was designed to comply with contracting rules, but it exposed the department to unacceptable risk. I mean, if you're thinking America first and common sense, this doesn't pass either of those tests. So I initiated an immediate review of this vulnerability, and I want to report our initial findings. So the use of Chinese nationals to service Department of Defense cloud environments, it's over. We've issued a formal letter of concern to Microsoft documenting this breach of trust, and we're requiring a third-party audit of Microsoft's digital escort program, including the code and the submissions by Chinese nationals. This audit will be free of charge for U.S. taxpayers. I'm also tasking the Department of Defense experts with a separate investigation of the digital escort program and the Chinese Microsoft employees that were involved in it. These investigations will help us determine the impact of this digital escort workaround. Did they put anything in the code that we didn't know about? We're going to find out.
Lots of pressure on Bill Gates these days. From the DOD to the other investigation here. Let's see, what is this here? This is the problem with society in general is that there's no accountability at all.
At all. I also think, and this is probably the bigger picture here, we're taking the accountability away from the kids themselves. And the problem with society in general is that there's no accountability at all. I mean, we have people like Eric Adams, who was indicted, and the indictment was entirely dropped. We have, Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci, crimes against humanity, still walking the streets. So if we are not holding the people in power accountable for their wrongdoing, why are we feigning accountability with children?
Maybe that's the reason Bill Gates is suddenly singing a different tune. Here's Joe Rogan.
Do it. Like, you have people like Bill Gates saying that planting trees to deal with carbon is ridiculous. That's a ridiculous way to do it. Like, how is that ridiculous? They literally turn carbon dioxide into oxygen. It is their food. That's what the food of plants is. That's what powers the whole plant life and the way we have the symbiotic relationship with them. And the more carbon dioxide is, the greener it is, which is why it's greener today on Earth than it has been in 100 years.
Sure.
These are all facts that are inconvenient to people that have a very specific, narrow window of how to approach this.
Now that tune is changing. Let's see here. Yes, the Senate Judiciary investigating Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for funneling millions of dollars to the Chinese PLA. DC Drano says, and now we know why Bill Gates said climate change isn't that big of a deal anymore. His foundation's getting investigated. Bill Gates jumping the ship, a huge victory. DC Drano writes, Bill Gates and the climate change alarmists are finally admitting humans will be just fine. Truth tellers were demonized for years for saying the extremism was unwarranted, but even with massive censorship, the data keeps proving human activity isn't causing the planet to combust. The conspiracy theorists remain undefeated. Bill Gates shocking the left. John Stossel even weighing in. Bill Gates changing his tune. Now he calls the doomsday view of climate change wrong. Welcome to the club, Bill. Here's a 3-minute climate scientists debunk several of the doomsday myths.
Scares.
This environmental catastrophe bearing down on us.
I keep hearing that we're killing the earth.
How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood.
But wait, I've been a consumer reporter for years. I've covered so many scares. Plague, famine, and perpetual war will kill us. We're going to run out of oil. Nuclear power will give us cancer. Killer bees swarm ever closer. Bird flu, flesh-eating bacteria. The list of terrible things that were going to get us is long. And yet we're living longer than ever. None of those scares turned out to be as frightening as the warnings. But I'm told global warming is different.
Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction.
The alarmists have evidence that supports their fears. Temperature is rising. The UN predicts that it'll rise another 2 to 5 degrees.
What do we do in the land we live on is under attack?
But does that justify the fear?
Climate change is not a lie, so please don't let our planet die.
Does it justify this claim?
We have 12 years to act.
We have 12 years.
We have 12 years before the effects are irreversible.
Really? 12 years?
It's warmed up around 1 degree Celsius since 1900, and life expectancy doubled the industrialized democracies, and yet that temperature ticks up another half a degree, and the entire system crashes. That's the most absurd belief.
I recently moderated this debate on climate change at the Heartland Institute. Well, not a debate, because the alarmists who were invited didn't show. Heartland invited many.
Please come over here and sit next to that place and let's have a discussion. There are a lot more people who want to hear what you have to say.
Climate alarmists never agree to debate. We'd love to offer you the airtime. We will give it to you. I'll give you a special phone number that goes to this phone. I invited Al Gore on my show often, but he would never come.
In order to solve the climate crisis,
He makes a lot of speeches, but won't respond to people who disagree. It's too bad that the alarmists won't debate, because so much of what they say deserves debate.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change.
12 years.
Well, and in 12 years, it'll be 12 more years.
David Legates is a professor of climatology at the University of Delaware. Pat Michaels is former president of the American Association of State Climatologists. Willie Soon is an astrophysicist.
It's all about hand waving, it's about emotion, about sending out kids in protest. We have nothing to do with the science.
This group pointed out that even if the planet warms by 5 degrees, humans can adjust. People in Holland did years ago.
They said, we're going to adapt to the fact that we're a low-lying country, and we're going to build these dikes, and we're going to build these pumps. Are you telling me that the people in Miami are so dumb that they're just going to sit there and drown?
You acknowledge, though, the water is rising.
Yes, water has been rising for approximately 20,000 years and probably will continue.
But we can adapt, like Holland has. Except the alarmists say hurricanes and other storms are getting worse.
It's getting stronger and stronger. The winds are getting harder and harder.
No, they aren't. You can take a look at all the hurricanes that around the planet. We can see them since 1970 because we got global satellite coverage. Right. And we can measure their power, and we can add up their power. And there is no significant increase whatsoever. There is no relationship between hurricane activity and the surface temperature of the planet.
The claim that hurricanes are getting worse and the 12-year deadline were 2 of 4 myths I heard the Heartland panel convincingly debunk. Myth number 3 was that government action today will save us.
We have to act now. The Obama administration's model projects that the amount of global warming that would be saved for going to zero emissions tomorrow, you don't know how to do that, put you back in the Stone Age, but let's just say we did it, would be 0.14 of a degree Celsius.
So no real effect on the climate, but
you'll sure have an impoverished, dark country, won't you?
Myth number 4, the idea that carbon dioxide is carbon pollution that just does harm and threatens the food supply.
There are places on Earth where it is just greening up like crazy.
So if you're really concerned about the plants, more carbon dioxide makes them not just grow faster, but also makes them more water efficient.
Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, but
If you got value for this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what victory looks like. The man who wanted you eating bugs and banning cows just admitted it was all theater. Gates now says that humans will live and thrive after terrorizing the world with doomsday predictions for decades. But here's the real story. The climate industrial complex is collapsing. When your biggest funder jumps ship, the grift is over. They never mention that carbon dioxide is plant food. Trees literally breathe it in and turn it into oxygen. More CO2 means greener Earth, but that truth doesn't sell carbon credits. Michael Mann's meltdown proves it. They're turning on each other like rabid dogs. Meanwhile, the Senate's investigating Gates for funneling millions to the Chinese military. Coincidence? Please. The climate scam was always about control, not temperature. So here is a question for the comment section. Was Gates lying then or lying now? Drop your answer below and get your next news gear from our shop, because that is where truth tellers unite.
You said people gonna die?
How dare you?
Squeeze a lot, dropping $5. What's up, man? Just gonna say it. We live on a volcanic planet. Where are we at right now? We are at $67.99. We're about $32 away from our goal. Are there 3 people out there that want to chip in $10 tonight and help us reach our goal? I know you're there. I know you're watching. I know you're thinking about it. Who will be the one to put us over the top tonight? Let's see. We're going to go into what's going on with the crazy, crazy stuff with these, what's happening in New York, the rhetoric, denial. It's crazy. All right. let's jump into it. Oh, look at that, $20 from R. Boyd. Damn, right out the gate here. R. Boyd dropping a 20 spot. Thank you, R. Boyd, for that support tonight. Sincerely appreciate it. So that means we are now at $87.99. We just need $12. $12. That's it, folks. Now, let's get into our next topic. The gaslighting just hit nuclear levels. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and MSNBC's Nicole Wallace swear Democrats never called Trump Hitler. Well, a 2-minute video montage proves they all did. From Biden to Joy Behar, the receipts are rolling. But here's the twist. While denying their Hitler hysteria, Democrats are literally embracing communists. AOC just had a public meltdown at a rally for Zoran Mandami, where thousands chanted Marxist slogans. This same event featured Hassan Piker, who said America deserved 9/11. The party that cried fascist is now openly socialist, and they're not even hiding it anymore. The projection is off the charts, and wait till you see what happens next. Now, watching AOC jump around screaming at communist rallies is enough to give anyone anxiety. That's why my wife and I rely on red light therapy every single day. After her diagnosis left her with chronic anxiety and pain, we discovered what NASA's been researching for decades. Jonathan Otto, who's been a guest on this show, showed me panels that deliver 9 wavelengths, specific wavelengths that penetrate deep into cells, triggering natural healing. Her anxiety eliminated, her pain gone, my own stress from covering this political insanity, I recover in minutes instead of hours. Medical journals confirm 300% faster healing, brain regeneration, pain elimination. The same Democrats screaming about fascism while embracing communism want you stressed and sick. Don't let them win. Visit myredlight.com. Use code NNN. Heal your body while their party self-destructs. That website again, myredlight.com, and use code NNN when you check out. And make sure you take a look at their payment options. So it's all happening here. This is Nicole Wallace, NJ Conservative, posting this 16 hours ago. Nicole Wallace is a grifter moron who went from working with the Bushes to having TDS on MSNBC. Fake news. Fake news, MSNBC. I don't think any Democrat has called Trump Hitler. Here's 2 minutes straight of Democrat leaders comparing Trump to Hitler and Nazis.
That's what I haven't suggested, that Donald Trump is Hitler. I wouldn't say
I don't think any Democrat has. I actually...
It is deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews.
How can you possibly compare what happened in Germany in World War II to what's going on here in the United States?
Well, we're talking about the death of a constitutional republic. That's what happened in Germany in 1933, 1934. And we're seeing today that you've got an administration in Washington that's ignoring court orders.
And this rogue Department of Justice going out to do the bidding of this Timu Hitler. I don't even.
Jasmine Crockett. Here's another montage. I think this is from Tom Elliott. Nicole Wallace. No one calls Trump Hitler except every day on my show.
Critics.
I haven't suggested that Donald Trump is Hitler. I wouldn't say
I don't think any Democrat has. I actually, and I think it's a smear that they project back on to critics.
What is the natural extension, Justin, if he pursues this to Harvard and beyond?
There was an authoritarian leader several decades back called Adolf Hitler. Hitler came to power and the scientists left.
The military survive in that climate.
In the same way that it happened in Russia with Stalin, the same way it happened with Hitler, eventually you get generals and admirals that are in there that only tell the leader what he or she wants to hear.
To the extent that the rule of law and an assault on the rule of law was an obscure, intangible thing, we're now seeing it in action.
If you look back in history, you can see very similar parallels that took place in other countries that really went down that authoritarian road, including in pre-World War II Nazi Germany, when Hitler and Nazi officials. Basically took over Frankfurt University, which was the bastion of independent thought and progressive thinking and independent thinking, which is what Hitler didn't want. And so again, this is what authoritarians do. They try to control all of the aspects of social life.
When Trump talks about peace and Putin talks about peace, it's autocrats getting their way. That's it. And Mussolini and Hitler said they were being the purveyors of peace.
I resisted for a long time, and
I haven't suggested that Donald Trump is Hitler. I wouldn't say.
I don't think any Democrat has. I actually
I don't know how these people live with themselves. Outnumbered, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker swears he never compared Trump to Hitler. MSNBC host Nicole Wallace piles on and says none has ever happened.
At that same place, Libs of TikTok put together a 2-minute reel of all of the people making these Hitler comparisons. J.B. Pritzker himself was pressed by Jake Tapper. Okay, Jake Tapper actually pressed a Democrat. How can you possibly compare what happened in Germany in World War II to what happened here? J.B. says we're talking about the death of the constitutional republic. That's what happened in Germany in 1933-34. Hillary Clinton compared the Madison Square Garden rally to a rally in 1939 at that same place. Tim Kaine made a similar comparison. You have one from Beto O'Rourke with this same rhetoric. Biden, he used the same exact language as Nazi Germany, AOC, Pelosi, the list goes on. So there are three options here. Either all these Democrats had amnesia, J.B. Pritzker had amnesia along with Nicole Wallace. Either they're just lying, totally possible, or they're so desensitized to this existential rhetoric that it is literally part of their vernacular to call Republicans, to call Donald Trump, to call MAGA supporters Hitler. And I'm very...
But over in New York City, Hassan Piker, the radical jihadist who said America deserved 9/11, was at the Zohran Mamdani rally over the weekend. Paul Zapula says, deport Hassan Piker, Zohran Mamdani, Ilhan Omar, and Medaya Hassan. Do it for the victims of 9/11. Here's a video.
Our sages say, Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od. All the world.
When Mamdani is selected or elected, New York is finished. They have forgotten September 11th already. It's tragic, isn't it? This meme circulating. A vote for Mamdani means New York forgot already. Never forget. Remember that? Never forget. Oh, they've certainly forgotten. Harrison Fields on CNN. He is the deputy communications director at the White House. Nice guy. Met him several times. He says Zohran Mamdani is a guy who has spoken vile about Jews and vile about the NYPD.
What Zohran is doing, this is a guy who's spoken vile about Jews, vile about the NYPD. It is true.
What did he say about Jews? What did he say?
From the river to the sea.
Oh, please. You're going to talk about... Okay. The Lacoon's charter literally says that they're going to pursue the Greater Israel Project and literally steal land from all these Middle Eastern countries.
This is why you have rabbis telling their congregations to vote for This is the new Democratic Party. Exactly. This is the platform.
It is a rejection of the establishment. That's what it is. Because the establishment has not actually looked out for
anti-Semitic. That's what it is. Fundamentally
anti-Israel. Please stop with this nonsense.
I get called a fascist every single day. I can call you an anti-Semitic because it's exactly what you are doing.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
I get called a fascist every single day.
Party has an anti-Semitic.
Why? Because he doesn't want to visit Israel as the mayor of New York City? Is that why?
Arrest Bibi Netanyahu.
He shouldn't be arrested. He's a war criminal.
There you go. Modern day.
Yeah, there you go. I'm right.
Modern day Democratic.
He's wanted by the International Criminal Court. There's a warrant out for his arrest.
Modern day Democratic Party.
The modern day Democratic Party. Here is AOC. Conservatives are brutally mocking her for having a bizarre episode in front of the crowd of communists for Zohran Mamdani, jumping up and down and yelling the name of NYC boroughs at the top of her lungs.
Queens, Jews escaping Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow, Latinos seeking a better life, Native people standing for themselves, Asian Americans Jews escaping Holocaust.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine that person running for president? Totally unhinged. Here is Speaker Johnson, 24 hours ago, says Hakeem Jeffries, a.k.a. Dollar Store Obama, endorsing Zohran Mamdani is evidence that the Democrat Party is over as we know it because the Democrats have now embraced communism.
The far left, in politics, all of you noticed it over the weekend. We saw our clearest sign yet that this radical insurgent movement in the Democrat Party is succeeding. And they are ending what has always been known as the Democrat Party in America. After a months-long pressure campaign from the far left, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries finally relented. He gave in, and he gave his endorsement to the socialist running to be mayor of New York City. The House Democrats have chosen a side. They were forced to by that far left that they're so terrified of, and they've shown the world what they really believe. There is no longer a place for centrists and moderates in their party. The candidate that they have endorsed, Mamdani, is somebody who we've talked about a lot from this podium. He sympathized with Hamas and openly embraced anti-Semitic language. He has called to, quote, seize the means of production because he is a Marxist. He's called to abolish our borders, to abolish and end immigration enforcement, to defund the police, and to legalize prostitution, among a long list of hits that I could share with you. Zohran Mamdani is expected to take the helm of one of the most important cities in the world and the largest city in America. And he now has the full blessing of the Democrat leader in the House of Representatives. It is shocking. And that leader and all the other Democrats are going to co-own the consequences of what they do to America's largest city.
New York is about to fall. Here is, this is what I voted for. A reporter, Zohran Mamdani, says that as mayor, he will not let ICE arrest illegals. What does Trump have to say?
That he will defy, Mr. President, your beloved New York City. Your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zohran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zohran Mamdani.
Well, then we'll have to arrest him.
Yeah, we'll have to arrest him. This is their literal message. Scott Jennings posting a video of AOC.
But we must remember, in a time such as this, we are not the crazy ones, New York City.
Look at her, how she's moving her head like that. She looks like she's crazy. Reminds me of that time when Hillary Clinton made that same kind of motion.
We are not the outlandish ones, New York City. They want us to think we are crazy. We are sane.
Yeah, sane by whose standards? Here he is. Zohran Mamdani himself says he's going to build housing for anyone in need, freeze rent, make buses free, and provide universal child care. Meanwhile, he can't pay for any of this since he can't raise corporate taxes or state income taxes on billionaires. Only the state can.
Here is what we stand for, my friends. We are going to freeze the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants and use every resource at our disposal to build housing for everyone who needs it. We are going to eliminate the fare on every single bus line and make what are currently the slowest buses in the nation move around this city with ease. And we are going to create universal child care at no cost to parents.
Who is going to pay for all of this? Housing? For anyone who needs it. Yeah, I immediately had a vision of massive concrete ghettos being erected. Excuse me. Who's going to pay for the buses? Who's going to pay for that? This guy is out of his mind. Healthcare? Childcare for families? Who's going to pay for that?
So New Yorkers can raise their family in the city they love. Together, New York, we're going to freeze up. Together, New York, we're going to make buses fast and...
You're going to freeze rent. Right. So all of those people who hold the notes on those properties will never be able to recoup their investment on those properties. If I was there, I would sell, and get the hell out of New York as fast as my feet could carry me.
Together, New York, we're going to deliver universal. We will make our city one where every person who calls it home can live a dignified life.
Dude, this guy is nuts. Kathy Hochul endorsing Zoran. Elon Musk even weighing in. Zoran is the future of the Democrat Party.
This is about this November's election, but take that energy, that passion, and take it into 26 so that we can take back the House of Representatives, take the Senate, and take back our country. With your help, we will. Elect Zoran, and we take back America. Thank you, Queens. Thank you, New York. I love you guys.
Yeah, we're screwed. I mean, New York is screwed. Here's Charles Downs. Flashback to him being the only journalist talented enough to question AOC after her Zoran Mandami event in D.C. last summer. Seems no one was able to interview AOC after her speech at Zoran's rally last night.
Congresswoman, do you agree with Zoran that we should globalize the Intifada? You were just with him this morning. You guys had a very nice breakfast. I saw you. I saw your sign.
Congresswoman Mandami, the future leader of the Democrat Party.
It's over. New York is finished. New York is done. But President Trump says arrest him. Let's go. Ducey, Peter Ducey, or no, not Peter, his dad. Deuce on the loose. Ducey, why is Zoran Mandami so popular in New York City?
Why do you think? So what do you make of this Mandami guy who's leading in the polls, the so-called Democratic Socialist?
I would scare me if I lived in New York.
Well, you don't. You live in Kansas. Why do you think he's so popular here?
I don't know.
Free. See, the word free.
I think you're exactly right.
Free.
All that stuff is free, and I think that's very intoxicating.
Yeah.
So are you having a nice visit to Kansas?
Free. But someone pays for it. Thousands chant tax the rich as Zoran Mandami walks out.
And we get up stronger, and more resilient than ever before. I'll be fighting every day with my partners on the same side. I'm Stuart Cousins.
You can only tax the rich so much. New York has fallen. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is peak insanity. Democrats spent 8 years calling Trump Hitler while they morphed into the American Communist Party. The evidence is undeniable. Libs of TikTok montage showing every major Democrat comparing Trump to Nazis. Now they're denying it while endorsing actual Marxists who celebrate 9/11. Zoran Mandami promises free everything with no way to pay for it. His rally looked like Venezuela. AOC's bizarre outbursts, screaming borough names like incantations, shows how unhinged they've become. Even Elon Musk sees it, calling Mandami the future of the Democrat Party. When your party platform includes 9/11 apologists and anti-Semitic slogans, you have lost America. So here is the question for the comments. Which is worse, Democrats calling everyone Hitler or Democrats becoming communists? Drop your answer below. While they spiral into Marxist madness, grab your next news gear from our shop, because when communism comes calling, patriots need to be ready. All right, guys, you put us over the top. $124.97. Our Boyd kicked off that rally with a 20 spot. Morgan Edwards jumping in with a 10 spot says, I will jump in. Mike Sherman coming in with 1999. Democrats suck. That is all he had to say. Lynn coming in at 499. Pear Character doing a classic mic drop. And then Sparky's Run just became a member. What's up, Sparky? Welcome to the family. And then Squeeze a Lot coming in on the tail end with a 2 spot. Rent is screwed. Companies like Blackstone exist. So, folks, that is the show tonight. 5 stories, 1 undeniable truth. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed, and that design is your destruction. We start with day 28 of Chuck Schumer's government shutdown, where Democrats turned economic desperation into criminal organization. SNAP benefits expire on Saturday, and the response? TikTok tutorials on robbing Walmart. November 3rd is not just a date anymore, it's D-Day for organized retail theft. While Schumer cashes his paycheck, he's weaponized poverty against law-abiding Americans. This is not incompetence, it's engineered chaos. Then we expose the biggest constitutional crisis since the Civil War. Joe Biden was not president. A robot was. Every pardon, every executive order, every law bearing his signature was potentially forged by staffers who won't even say who operated the Autopen. The House Oversight Committee just declared it all null and void. Fauci's immunity gone. The J6 Committee's protection worthless. Attorney General Bondi has her marching orders, and the prosecutions are coming. The puppet presidency just became literal, and the strings lead straight to the deep state. But Trump is not waiting around. He just fired a dozen ICE chiefs and unleashed Greg Bovino's Border Patrol warriors on sanctuary cities. Nearly 3,000 arrested in Chicago alone. BORTAC units are hitting the streets while Obama judges demand daily court appearances to slow them down. Tom Homan, Stephen Miller, orchestrating the largest deportation operation in American history directly from the White House. The border isn't just secure, it's on offense now. And meanwhile, the climate cult just lost its biggest sugar daddy. Bill Gates, Mr. Eat the Bugs, live in the pod. Well, now he admits that climate change won't end humanity. His own allies are calling him Judas.
How dare you?
Michael Mann's having a breakdown. The timing with Gates' Chinese money investigation is not a coincidence. The trillion-dollar grift is collapsing, and even the architect admits the blueprint was fake. Carbon dioxide is plant food, folks. Trees turn it into oxygen. They've been lying about basic biology. And finally, the Democrats' Hitler hoax boomerang so hard they're denying they ever said it, while embracing actual communists. We've got video, we showed it to you, proving every major Democrat called Trump Hitler. Now they're rallying for Marxists who celebrate 9/11. AOC's jumping around like a lunatic while thousands chant socialist slogans in New York. The projection is complete. They called us fascists while becoming communists. 5 stories, 1 pattern, the complete implosion of their entire control system, from welfare riots to presidential forgery, from border enforcement to climate collapse, from Hitler hoaxes to Marxist rallies. Every lie is unraveling simultaneously. So to everyone who sent in super chats tonight, you guys are the backbone of independent media. So keep telling your friends about the raw feed. Hit our merch shop and wear the truth proudly. This is Gary Franchi saying thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you on the next show. Until then, stay vigilant, stay angry, and stay American.